Hello! Welcome back to another edition of Ryan has no creative video ideas, so she's filming another review. Today, we are going to be reviewing the ecogold Flip Half Pad. I'm definitely a little late to the party with this review. 2 years ago, this half pad was all anybody talked about, and now nobody talks about it anymore. I'm a little late. But I had the idea to do this review, and I thought I might as well do it. Also, I did include this in the equestrian products I regret buying video, and I thought I could kind of elaborate on why and also talk about the pros because I felt like I was very negative about it in that video, and I do think it's a good product. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of a more fair shot and just kind of give you like the pros and the cons. So I'm gonna start with the pros because we're trying to be positive. I've had this for 2 years and I used it like every time I rode until I started leasing Finn, which was like 10-11 months ago, because he needed risers. So I used it for like a year and a half consistently. That math was wrong. I used it for like a year totally consistently, and then like on and off since then, and it has held up really well. The only real sign of wear is on the white side where you can see like sweat and a little bit of like dirt and stuff. So it has held up really well, which is very nice, especially because it's expensive and you want it to last a long time. Also, it has this really cool grippy material to keep your saddle in place. So here's the sitch. I like half pads that are grippy, but I absolutely hate half pads with gel because I watched Jill Jet Equitheory's video a long time ago on gel half pads and why they're not great. Basically because they move, because they're gel and they, you know, they're jelly and they move around like this. And then your saddle moves on top of them, so it just creates like a really uncomfortable feeling for the horse's back. So I'm not big on gel half pads, but I do like half pads to be grippy because it does help your saddle stay in place, so this is a good compromise there. Another pro is that it's 2 colors, so you get to kind of go between being fun and then classy. I like this because I like my outfits and my saddle pads to match, and so if I'm not wearing something blue, I just use the white side, and then if I'm wearing something blue, I'll use the blue side. The blue side is like this kind of duct tape type material. I mean, it's not duct tape, but that's the closest thing I could like compare it to. And then the white side is like mesh. I'm not sure why they do it in different materials, but they do. Another pro is that the foam inside doesn't compress under pressure. So like Ogilvy's, you can see that they like go down where the pressure points of your saddle are, but this does not because it's like high impact foam or something. I'll put the exact name right here. And that's one of the big selling points for this because it doesn't let the pressure points of your saddle put extra pressure on your horse's back, which is really great. And the foam inside, you can see it. It kind of looks like one of those memory foam toppers that you put on your bed. I don't know if anybody else does that. I have a really bad mattress, so I have memory foam toppers. That's kind of what it looks and feels like. They say it's not memory foam, but that is kind of what it feels and looks like. The last major pro I have on my list is that this doesn't dramatically change your saddle fit. You can ask them to send you shims, which would change your saddle fit if you need to, but alone it doesn't dramatically change your saddle fit, which is so nice because if you have a nice fitting saddle, sometimes you can't use a half pad because it'll change your fit, but you want to use a half pad because you want to support your horse's back. It's pretty thin. It doesn't look thin, but it is actually pretty thin, and it doesn't really do anything to change your saddle fit unless you put shims in it, which then would. And that's also a nice thing is because you can open this and then you can put shims in it and change your saddle fit from there. So moving on to cons and kind of the reason I regret buying it. The main reason is just because it's so expensive. I think it's $260 and then shipping, and I got shipping to the US and they're from Canada, so that was fairly expensive. And there are half pads out there that are pretty good that are less expensive and do a lot of the same things. So just the price is a lot. I think if you have the money, it's a good purchase, but like, so that's just the main thing is that it's so expensive. Another reason is because it doesn't really allow for wither relief. So like, you know how you do that thing where you push your saddle pads up so they're not like on your horse's withers? This a lot of the time will fall down. Partially could have been my fault because I do keep my girth very loose, which can lead to like falling down, but I think the structure of it just doesn't really allow for wither relief for some reason. On every horse I rode in it, and every saddle it would always fall down at least a little bit, if not all the way down onto their withers. So I'm not sure if I did something wrong there or if it actually does that. Let me know if you've had experience with that, because it could be the saddle pad, but it could also be me because I'm not the brightest and sometimes I can't use things correctly. And then another thing is that the white side of it is impossible to clean. So you can get white or black for one of the sides and then you have the color on the other side. And I got white, which I like because it looks classy, but it's impossible to clean. So like this has dirt around the edges, and then the mesh is especially impossible to clean. I've tried like dish soap, I've tried spraying it down with like a really high pressure hose. I've tried shampoo. Like, I've tried so many things and nothing has worked to get these stains out. It's not like the biggest deal, but it's definitely not great. But the colored side has stayed totally clean. Like, this side looks brand new if you just like don't know that I've had it for that long. So I do want to talk a little bit more about why I put it in my equestrian products I regret buying, because I feel like that might have been a little misleading, because I do like this saddle pad and it's definitely nice. The main reason I regret buying it is just because it's so expensive, and I've kind of explored other options of saddle pads and I just feel like there's a lot of half pads on the market and there's quite a few that are much less money that will support your horse's back the same, if not better. And also I think that I bought it a lot because it was kind of like trendy and a lot of people were talking about it. Like I said earlier, this was like a really popular thing like 2 years ago when I bought it, and I think I just wanted to be like cool and fancy, and I think that's the main reason I bought it. I don't know, I just think that it's very expensive and I don't want to say it's not worth the money. If you have the money, it's probably worth it, but I don't think I should have put a ton of effort and like saved my money to buy this. I feel like I could have spent a lot less money and bought other things or saved more money. Overall, I would recommend it if you have the money to buy it, but I also would recommend looking into different, more affordable options, because a lot of them will have what you need. They might not be as flashy, but they have what you need. If you have any more questions about the half pad, I'll be happy to answer them in the comments, and I will see you guys later. You should subscribe because you love me, right? Right, okay. Bye.